and when you started cooking. Did you cook as a kid, or was it when you were older?
I started cooking as a teenager. I didn't cook as a kid. I didn't have like an Italian family. It's not Sunday meals.
Like the grandmother with the pasta.
Complete opposite. We had fresh food though. My dad was a healthy guy, ran marathons. But it was like food was not a event at our house. It was a necessity.
Yeah.
Being around the table with the family, my dad appreciated that. I started working as a young teenager as a dishwasher. My mother got me a job in a local like motor inn. And the food was pretty good, real good. My cousin was a dishwasher. I was like 14 or 15. But it was just fun to be in there with a bunch of men that looked like they were having fun and working hard and creating these, to me, beautiful food. And it still was beautiful food. Like a turkey club was a beautiful dish for me. There was not a lot of turnover, so I went to another restaurant eventually, a brand new restaurant that was opening. I became I breaded food all day. All I did was bread onion rings and cutlets and made French fries.
To start.
Getting that one break to get on the line, you know. So I started making salads and club sandwiches. And I moved on to a cooking school that my dad hooked me up for because I told him I wanted to be a chef. He really was unimpressed with that and kind of upset.
He didn't want you to be a chef.
No way, man. He was like adamant. So he signed me up for these cooking classes in a mall in Jersey. So after my first class, the owner and the managing partners of that company asked me if I wanted a job. Meaning prepping, like Julia Child would come, a bunch of cookbook authors would come, and they would do demos, and someone had to chop all the stuff.
Someone had to do all the stuff first.
So I was like, yeah, I said, I'll do that. And they says, and you get all the classes free. But I saw all these different ingredients. You know, I did Moroccan food, French food. I took classes in different cuisines, Chinese dishes. So I had to prep all these, and I had to read the recipes. Yeah. So I learned a lot, and then I really got like, wow, this is really exciting. And I was so inspired. Unfortunately, it did close. Then my dad we were back to, well, what's next?
Right.
I went to about 20 places with my knife kit. Knock on doors. You know, I didn't have a resume. I mean, I was just like, you know. So I walked to the country club, beautiful place, you know. I've never been in a country club. I'm like, walk up, guy Jose, who I still know to this day. He looks at me and he says, we interview, and I said, I just want to be a chef. I work hard. And he says, okay, he goes, go up to the manager, tell him you were a broiler cook at the Sheraton Inn, not a prep cook. I said, yeah, but I wasn't. He says, yes, you were. I said, no, but I said I wasn't. He goes, yes, you were. But I said, I don't know how to do that. He goes, I'm gonna teach you. And the guy Jose taught me everything about butchering and about working on the line and making meat and working and showing up. And I worked with Jose until I went to CIA.
And what did you learn at culinary school, and how did that shift your focus?
When I went to CIA, I was a cook already. So my going to CIA with that under my belt, I had a good advantage of other students because I knew what a really fancy restaurant was.
You worked for years.
And you know, I wanted to be a saucier. That's all I cared about.
And when you got out of school, who were the mentors that made you think, okay, I don't have to be a saucier, I can really take this to the next level? Who gave you that confidence?
I got out of school, I worked in Norway, so I worked for myself in a mansion. I got an idea of what kind of food I liked, and it was creative. Then I traveled throughout Europe before I came home. So went to a lot of restaurants, couldn't afford the good ones, but I learned a little bit about culture in different European countries. Came back, I worked for Waldo Maloof at La Crémaillère. I worked for him for 3 years side by side, on the line, because it was a beautiful French restaurant, and I learned how to do everything with him, stock. So I had like a real mentor, like a side-by-side guy, a real chef, sous chef relationship. Then I came to the point where I said, well, it's time for me to move, what can I do? So I got a job with Daniel Ballou as a poisson, fish cook, at the Hotel Plaza Athens. I worked for him for about 6 months until the opportunity to be the sous chef of the River Cafe came up with Charlie Palmer, who I met at La Crémaillère because he was working at a country club in that area. And then there, I started taking what I knew from Waldy, from Danielle, from Charlie. And Charlie let me like run the game of the specials, and I ate out and I read a lot.
So you were lucky to have a lot of great mentors. I mean, from Jose to Charlie. Do you feel like that was a huge part of your development, having these people who all kind of took a chance on you?
Yeah, and yes, that's a good way of putting it. People gave me the opportunities, and not only the chef part of the opportunities. it comes to the point where now you become the chef and the owners take a chance on you.
Yeah. Right.
Like Buzzy O'Keefe gave me, I was 25 years old when he gave me the chef's job at the Rib Cafe.
What are we going to make today?
You know what, we're going to make today kind of a very innovative dish that's based on a classic recipe. So we're taking the American thinking of fish and chips, adding an Asian accent, but being very creative with a fish chop and garnishing with some Asian the lotus chip. Simplicity with a twist.
Great. Will you show us the steps?
Yes. To get started, we begin with a hot oven, a hot flat top, and a beautiful piece of skate. This is a skate chop, so oil, hot pan, and salt. So we're just gonna leave that. We don't need to move that around. So we put a little bit of butter in there. Lotus chip. I was handed this in a mystery basket in Japan, 1988, and so I made chips with it. And you know, we're on the news in Japan how the Americans think like Americans and making chips and burgers, and they were all laughing and making fun of it. But in fact, it was a great idea. And you know, right into the fryer. This will cook until they're brown and crunchy. So our chop is just about done, and I'm going to make the sauce old-fashioned style, right in the pan. Garlic, shallots, ginger, a little oil, capers, butter, a little brown, a little lemon juice, a little bit of wine, get some basil, sesame seeds. What next is lotus chips. Well, thanks for watching. This is my skate chop picatta with lotus chips, all American fish and chips with a little Asian and French accent. Thank you.